Hey guys, welcome back to the Sim Twins. My name is Brooke and today we are doing another speed build. This speed build is my first speed build on the channel using the Snowy Escape pack, and I am very excited with how it turned out. This is a 100 baby ready home. I haven't played with my 100 baby save file in a really long time, but I decided because we got the new pack that maybe my Sims would want to see a change of scenery. So I decided to build them this huge courtyard 100 baby home inside of the new world in the world of Mount Komorebi, and I tried to use a lot of Japanese principal architecture, and I tried to look at a lot of different inspirational pictures online to see kind of courtyard houses in Japan and try and figure out what I wanted to do with this house. So I will say that this is loosely inspired by some of those images that I saw. It's definitely not 100% accurate, but it is what I really wanted to make, which was this 100 baby courtyard home. But before we get too far into this video, please make sure that you hit that subscribe button and you turn on those notifications so you know every time we post a new video. Y'all, I am obsessed with the build buy mode in this pack. I think a lot of the pieces are super gorgeous, and I wasn't really that big of a fan of the new stuff that we got in CAS. I thought, it's okay, but not the greatest. But really, build buy mode is really my bread and butter anyway in this game, and this pack delivers on a lot of new features and a lot of awesome and beautiful kind of stuff that I am so excited to be using in other builds. So if I build other things in Snowy Escape, please forgive me because I am just obsessed with this pack so far. But let's talk about this build and why I wanted to do this. So when I had my original save file for my 100 baby challenge, they actually lived in a complex in Sulani, and I made it so that there were three different little sections. We had like the main house, which is where the kitchen and dining room and living room was, and then there was the kids' house, and then there was the mother's suite. And so what I wanted to do was I wanted to give them not only a change of scenery, but I also wanted to give them a new culture, a new world. So my matriarch, her name is Bridget Yang, and I have only had one matriarch so far, and she has had 40 children. So, like, I thought, honestly, that's crazy that I've only had one matriarch and she's had that many children. But she is loosely not loosely inspired. She is Asian, so I thought that it might be fun to move her to a world that is Asian inspired. Sulani is also Polynesian inspired, but she is definitely more East Asian. So I moved her and her family to this lot, and I think it is super gorgeous. I wanted to create this courtyard effect because of the fact that I wanted it to feel like there were different spaces for the mother, for the children, and just to really have a different kind of home than I built before. I really, really enjoyed this house. If you've seen the house that I built for the 100 Baby Challenge in Eco Lifestyle in Evergreen Harbor, it also, I guess, could kind of be like this, although it was built out of entirely containers. So I really liked that in this house, I tried to go a little bit more traditional with the architecture, and here I created like 4 little segmented Zen garden areas in this main courtyard area. And there's also a couple of planter boxes that I put in here for your mother to do whatever she wants with those, gardening and that kind of stuff. And I also added in a little swing set. Now I know that with some of the children's aspirations, you do need to have jungle gym and monkey bars. But the problem with this lot is that I put this on the rental lot that is in Wakaba, and it's a 30 by 20. So it was a pretty small lot, and the house turned out to be super huge with the footprint because of the fact that the courtyard on the inside, I want to say, is a 9 by 9 square, and then the rest of the house kind of like radiates around that courtyard area. So I was only able to squeeze in that little I think it came with Island Living, but it's just a little place where your Sims can swing. You could try in this area to like change it around, take out the little 4 quadrants of sandy places and add in more kid stuff if you wanted to do that. Add in a jungle gym, add in monkey bars, whatever you would like. But I really liked having this kind of Zen garden feel, and I just thought that based on the different pictures that I saw, that this was pretty accurate to what a courtyard house would have, where you have this Zen area in the middle and you have platforms kind of surrounding it so you can go in and out throughout the house. So you bring like the outside into your house, and with the shoji screens, I think that works really well. And see, here I am trying to fit in those monkey bars, but feeling like there wasn't enough room, so I just went with swings. Now, this part is where it gets really complicated because the layout was so difficult to make. Just like with my container home, with square builds, you think, oh, it's going to be easy. But the problem with square builds is that it doesn't always lend itself to creating really fun or really cool layouts for your home. So I had to work with this space a lot. I was moving around a lot of things, changing the sizes of rooms like a million times until I was satisfied with what I wanted. Because one of the things that I really dislike, and I think I said this before in other builds, I hate one tile wide hallways. I think that they feel so cramped, and I know in some places they do have one tile wide hallways in real life, but I personally like my hallways to be at least 2 tiles wide, which is why this layout was giving me such a hard time, because I wanted to make sure that I kept the integrity of the 2 tile wide hallways, and I also wanted to be respectful of how Japanese bathrooms are built. So I separated the toilet from the shower area, and that is actually really good for your gameplay when it comes to the 100 baby challenge. So your children don't walk in on each other while they're while they're going to the bathroom, and their siblings walk in and they get very embarrassed. So that was actually super helpful to have in this house, is that ability to have the toilet separated from the rest of the bathroom. And it just allows you to like have your Sims go to the bathroom or take a shower at the exact same time with no worries. And I do show one of the bathrooms that I created right here, because I wanted to show you how I laid it out, but all of them are laid out the exact same way. So I just show you one of them because they all look the same pretty much. I love the cute new onsen tile that we get, and I used the pattern that came with the kitty cats, and it's so adorable. You'll see them in just 1 second. I really love that. I just think it is the most adorable tile ever, and I thought that, if you are going to have the 100 baby challenge, like, I feel like your bathrooms having this kitty tile is so adorable. It's so cute. So I really enjoyed making the bathrooms. Again, I made them all laid out pretty much the same in all of them, but they work. I player tested them. It's all good. And this build is actually up on our gallery right now. Our gallery ID is the Sim Twins 14. I will say, for some reason, this lot was considered modded, although I did not use any custom content in this build. The only custom content that was in this build were the fact that I had babies when I moved this family in. Bridget, she had 2 twins recently, Artemis and Apollo, and they're still babies. So they were in their bassinets, and I do have the Tiny Twavelers stuff pack, which is a mod pack, and their cribs are technically just the override cribs from that pack. So that's why it's considered modded. So if you can't find this build, make sure that you have mods clicked on. But if you download it, like, nothing will be lost except for those 2 bassinets, which is fine because those children aren't even yours. So you don't even need Artemis and Apollo in your save file. So it's fine. But here I am working on the tatami in this bedroom. I watched the video I watched the video from Freezer Bunny, and he was talking about how there are very specific ways in which tatami mats are laid out. And so I wanted to try and be super respectful with the way in which I laid out these tatami mats. I didn't want to make them like laid out incorrectly. And so one of the things that I notice in a lot of tatami mat areas, there's usually like 2 tiles one way and then 2 tiles going the other way. So I tried to emulate that in these builds, but again, if I am not respectful with the way that tatami mats are supposed to be laid out, please let me know in the comment section. I would be grateful to have a lot of your feedback and help with making these more accurate, because I am just following along with images that I see on the internet. I am definitely not a full-time interior decorator in Japan, so I'm trying to be as respectful as possible. But this is the main living space for all of your Sims. I put in that 6-person kotatsu. I really like the kotatsu, and it's just really pretty. It comes in a lot of different swatches, and it's really cool to have your Sims interact with that piece. Although I will say, I see in a lot of Japanese homes that the kotatsu is not out during the entire year. The kotatsu is usually just out during the colder months because it is kind of like a space heater. It's got that warm area under it. So a lot of times you'll have the table just low to the ground, but you won't have it won't necessarily be a kotatsu because it's too hot for that. You just have the low table to the ground that you sit at. So I wish that maybe they could have given us a table that was not a kotatsu, but it was just basically like the same thing, just without the blanket space, because in the summertime, you don't want to be surrounded by a space heater when you're eating. It's just uncomfortable in that heat. But I also added in a couple of tables for your kids to do their homework. And then in the kitchen, this is definitely by no means a classic kitchen layout for a Japanese home. I put in a very large island, and I did actually make the island smaller because I was worried that your Sims might not be able to walk around the space very well. So I make the island smaller, and I just add in a pretty small area in the back so you have 2 sinks. I really like having 2 sinks in kitchens, especially if it's a bigger kitchen and you have a lot of family members. It's just really helpful to have 2 sinks. And so this is me trying to decide, what am I going to do with the layout of this big island? I was like, maybe if I do this, will that look good? But then in the end, when I put in the bar stools, and I think the bar stools came with Parenthood. I really like them. I thought they matched really well with the color of the new countertops that we got with this pack. And I just thought, once I put them in there, I'm like, they are going to not be able to walk around this. And so I made it smaller. I made the footprint smaller. But I think that overall the kitchen is very functional. It's very clean. I tried to keep it very uncluttered. I do not like cluttered kitchens. I know some people really like to clutter up their kitchens, but I don't. And then in this area, I did have one of my Sim daughters die in my 100 baby save. Her name was Jessie. She died by overheating in the summertime because she wasn't wearing her outdoor clothes. She was wearing like her winter clothes for some reason. So she died. And so here I am making what is, I would consider to be kind of like a faux altar that a lot of Japanese homes have in them. Just, they usually have a picture of a loved one who's passed away. They definitely do not have the ashes, so that's completely wrong. But it's just an area where they honor the dead. And this is the mother's room. The mother's room is very simple. I tried to keep it understated. There is some romantic items in this room, such as the little ice bucket there that you get on a VIP date, and I put that in there because it's very helpful for this challenge, because it gets your Sims in the mood to have some babies. And I had some pictures on the wall of all of the children from my Sim. Well, not all of them, but I took them probably starting around like baby 30 or something like that. So I have about 12 or so photos. So if you download this house, you will see some of the photos with my other children, and they're actually all labeled with their names and everything. So that's just a fun little Easter egg that I left in here. But this is the toddler's room. I really liked how the toddler's room turned out. Again, here I am trying to just lay out these tatami mats in a way that is trying to be as respectful as possible, trying to keep with the tradition of how you lay out tatami mats. If I didn't do it justice, I really apologize. I am trying my best looking at photos online on how they're set up. But this toddler room has enough space to sleep 3 toddlers currently, because I only put 3 toddler beds in. But you could always kind of like squeeze them together a little bit more and maybe get one more toddler bed in there. But I just kept it really simple. Nice blue wallpaper on the wall, little night lights. You have 3 toilet potty training areas, and you have 2 of the little stacking blocks, and I also put in a bookcase and a little place for your kids to keep all of their toys. I usually honestly sell all the toys because they make you lots of money. And this room beside the toddler's room is the kids' room. So again, with the kids' room, I really loved this wallpaper. It reminded me so much of Animal Crossing because of the little leaf pattern, that the little leaf motif. I thought that it was so cute. I thought it looked really similar to I thought it looked super similar to Animal Crossing leaf pattern. So I thought, this is perfect. Like Animal Crossing was created in Japan. Like I just thought it was super cute. I really liked it. And in this room, you actually have the ability to sleep up to 4 of your children. So in the toddler room, you have 3 beds. In the teenager room, you have 3 beds. But then in the kids' room, you have 4 beds. So if you have like a teenager that's, just transitioned from being a kid to just from being a kid to a teenager, they could still sleep in here if you have your teenager room, completely full and that kind of stuff. So in total, I think this house could sleep 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 full size Sims and 3 toddlers. So you definitely have enough room for that. And I also put the cribs in the mom's room because I find that super helpful for this challenge. And then in this last area, so the front area was really hard. I tried to do the sunken in spot, but my game was just having a really weird time with the platforms. But this area back here is just a long hallway, and there was no more room on this lot because I'm only 1 tile away from the back of the lot. So I decided that this little hallway is a really long hallway. We're just going to turn it into like a games area for the kids. So I put in a little table so they could sit there and do their homework. I put some like of the metal stuff. I put the little this came with the kids stuff pack. It's the little puppet theater. Then you have a little area where you can do science. That was the one that came with Snowy Escape. I put in the cute new ottomans, which I thought were super cute based on the void critters. I also put in 2 of the new creative spaces that came with this pack. And I also put in those little My Sim things on the wall because my kids had some of those. So I just put them in there. So you get those for free in this 100 baby challenge build. And there are 2 laptops in the living space. And then I put in the shoe rack at the front door. Those are actually useful now because you can set them so you can say whether or not your Sims need to take off their shoes when they enter the house. So they're actually usable. They're not just for decoration anymore, and I'm a big fan of that. Although I did watching this back, I realize now I forgot to put in a thermostat. So if you play with seasons, you need a thermostat for sure. And I also forgot to put in a fire alarm. So I will go in and put those in to make sure that when you download this off of the gallery, you will have all of that stuff that you need. So your house doesn't catch on fire because your teenage Sims tried to make some mac and cheese. But we're getting to the end of the video now. I hope you enjoyed the screenshots, and I'll see you in another video. Bye, everybody.